G'day everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. So with the 2022 AFL home and away season just coming to an end, what a home and away season it was. In today's video, I'm going to be going over my 22-man All-Australian side predictions. It's a few days away until the AFL announces the All-Australian side for this year, but in today's video I decided to not only go over my predictions, but also go over my personal All-Australian side. If you're going to enjoy today's video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, that'd be much appreciated, and let's get into today's video. So kicking off with my first back pocket in my All-Australian side, I've got no other than 𝐼𝐻𝐿𝐴 from Hawthorn. What a year he has had. He came back, a sort of a comeback year really after just a lot of time out with that nasty ACL injury, and he's fitted in the Hawks side excellent this year. He's been one of the best intercept marks in the competition, I felt, throughout the year, consistent pretty much all year, a great ball user across the back defensive 50 for the Hawks, and just wherever it comes within his vicinity, he always either marks it or he just clears it out really well. He's ranking elite in marks, contested marks, also intercept possessions, just everything that comes his way, he does something really well with, and what a comeback year it has been for Sicily. I've got him in my back pocket. Moving on to my fullback now, and no surprises, I've got Steven May from the Melbourne Demons. In my opinion, he's arguably been the best key defender throughout the whole competition this year. Shows a very good contested defense loss percentage with only 10%. Very good in the one-on-one battle, just so strong, keeps his feet, and also he's a very good kick-out player as well. He's just not a bad ball user. He's always great off that left boot. He's been sensational this year, Steven May. I reckon he's going to be making the All-Australian again, and I've got him at my fullback position. Moving on to my other back pocket now, and I've got Tom Stewart from the Geelong Cats. Maybe not necessarily a player who's been consistent throughout the whole year. Of course, did get suspended for a number of weeks after that hit on Dion Prestia. But I just felt whenever he's in the side, they just play that next level Geelong. He is one of the best ball readers in the competition. Plays that quarterback role where he likes to stay, kick away, and take some awesome intercept grabs. And he just controls the game so well when he has the ball on hand, and his main strength is, of course, his intercept marking. Ranks elite in marks and intercept marks. Just reads the ball tremendously well. Good ball user as well. No surprises, really. I think Tom Stewart's had a great year. He's going to be making the All-Australian again, in my opinion, and I've got him in the back pocket position. Moving on now to the halfback line. In my first halfback flank position, I've got Angus Brayshaw from the Melbourne Demons. In my opinion, this is one of the most consistent plays throughout the whole season. This guy, Angus Brayshaw, is just such a tremendous role player for the Demons. Can play in the midfield, can play across the wing, and throughout most of the season, he has been playing that halfback line. Of course, he did move into the guts the last few weeks of the home away season, but just because I feel he's played majority on the halfback flank, I think he's eligible to get a spot here. It's a real toss-up. You can go with Daicos, Doherty, Sinclair. I think Brayshaw does get a spot. He's just a very versatile player. I think he possesses a lot of qualities, a very good intercept mark, reads the play tremendously well, very courageous player too, and uses the ball really well, and a gut runner too. And I've got him at my halfback position, Angus Brayshaw. Moving on to my centre half back now, and I think this guy has to be a lock. Sam Taylor from the GWS Giants. It's really hard to have a player that's in the bottom four, especially a key defender, being in the All-Australian side, but this is an absolute exception. Sam Taylor, this guy has single-handedly kept the Giants in most games. If he was not in the side, Giants would have conceded maybe 6 or 7, 8 goals in some games. A good example was the last game against Fremantle. Absolutely sensational. I've always thought this guy's an All-Australian from maybe halfway through the season onwards. Consistent all year, I really do feel, and once Phil Davis has gone down, he's really stood up. He should be a future captain, I reckon, Sam Taylor. And of course, just a very good 1-1 player. I think his contested defense loss percentage is under 15%, which is very strong, so one of the best in the competition. Just loves the competitiveness of it. Very good one-on-one, very strong, can take a great intercept grab as well. He's at my centre half-back position. Moving on to my other half-back position now, and I think this guy has to be a lock, Jack Sinclair from St Kilda. This guy is just different gravy, how he plays. Of course, yes, all half-back flanks are seagulls. They pick up the cheap touches, but he just reads the play so well. He's always involved across the defensive 50 for the Saints. Always clears it out, always there, right place at the right time, and has really good electrifying pace. He gives him that dash for the Saints, Jack Sinclair. Good user too of the footy. Just a very solid, versatile player in many areas. Of course, ranking elite in disposals and also kicks. He's just been sensational this year, Jack Sinclair. Also ranked the #1 general defender via champion data too, Jack Sinclair. So for me, he's a lock. I've got him at halfback. Moving on to the centres now, just kicking off with my first wing. I've got 𝐓𝐿𝐴 𝐿𝐿 from the Brisbane Lions. It's hard to really balance the wing positions because do you go for a full-time wingman? Do you go for a full-time mid? I've decided to balance it out a bit and go with 𝐓𝐿𝐼𝐿, who has been playing on the wing, but not really so much this year. But in past years, he definitely has been mostly on the wing. But he's moved into the guts this year, and he's put in a solid input for the Lions this year. Of course, a gut runner, very good two-way runner, I feel, and a solid ball user. Whenever he's just a classy player, really. Whenever he has it, he usually does something really well. He's just had a brilliant year, 𝐓𝐿𝐼𝐿. I think, of course, we all talk about Neil, but I feel like you like Lions, and especially 𝐓𝐿𝐼𝐿 has, behind the kind of scenes work, has been just as important, and I've got 𝐓𝐿𝐼𝐿 on my wing. Moving on to my centreman now, and I have Andrew Brayshaw from Fremantle. What an absolute superstar this guy is. 22 years of age, I think turning 23 soon, and a potential Brownlow medalist. Who knows, at the end of the season, just looks like a leader on and off the field. I think the best two-way runner, midfielder in the competition. Just some of his defensive efforts are sensational, whilst he has the ability to go stoppage to stoppage or contest to contest and contribute hitting the scoreboard or finding a teammate inside 50. He's just a complete package, Andrew Brayshaw. What a season he has had. Of course, ranked elite in a lot of areas such as disposals and tackles and kicks, etc. You name it. Been great in the fantasy as well, of course, too, to put that into. Yeah, Andrew Brayshaw, absolute lock in the All-Australian side. I've got him starting on the centreman. Now for my other wingman, and I've decided to go for a full-time winger. I've gone with Josh Dacos from Collingwood. I just didn't really decide who else I could put. I could put maybe another elite midfielder in there, but I just wanted to go for a full-time winger, because we did see Kane Cornes earlier in the year. One of the selectors say we want to put players in the actual positions they played, so I feel like they might put a full-time wingman in. I think Josh Dacos does take that spot. I'm pretty sure he is the #1 ranked wing via champion data throughout the whole season. He's just a classy player, really. Not only is he gut runner, two-way runner, very accountable too, I do reckon. He's just a threatening ball user, and he has that X factor too that can go forward, kick some awesome goals. Sensational year Josh Dacos has had, and I've got him on my wing. Moving on to my half-forward line now, kicking off at half-forward flank. I do have Shai Bolton from the Richmond Tigers. What a watchable player this guy is. One of the most cleanest at ground level players, and of course also one of the most watchable players in the competition. The guy's upside potential is crazy high. Massive X factor whenever he has ball in hand. Always does something exciting. Very hard player to tackle. Can hit the scoreboard. He's been playing a bit with mid forward this year, but geez, he's such a threatening target inside 50. He's a special player, Shai Bolton. He just keeps on getting better and better. Has kicked 41 goals for the year for the Tigers as well, before finals that is. And I do have Shai Bolton on my half forward line. Moving on to the centre half forward position, and I do have Jeremy Cameron from the Geelong Guts. What a season he has put together. I did tip this guy at the start of the year to win the 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿, and to be fair, he was a really good chance to win the 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿 if he did not get injured in the last round, which allowed 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿 to win it. But he's just been awesome this year. He's had a lot of patches where he's been arguably the best player in the competition, or one of the most hardest players to man up on for a defensive 50 side. He plays high up the ground so exceptionally well, can hit the scoreboard, can find a target, very versatile player too, quite a mobile player still. I think he's around in his 30s now, or close to being 30. He's just been awesome this year. Kicked 59 goals for the season. One of the best centre-half forwards in the competition, I do feel, Jeremy Cameron, and I've got him in the centre-half forward position. Moving on now to my other half-forward line position, and I do have another catter, Tom Hawkins. Obviously, he isn't a half-forward line player, he's a key forward, so he should be a centre-half forward or full forward, but that also gives away that I do have another key forward in full forward. So I just feel Hawkins, Cameron, and well, obviously you probably already know it's going to be 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿 at full forward. It's too hard to not have in the side, and I think he deserves a starting spot, Hawkins. Not only has he kicked 59 goals this year, he is top 5 in goal assists. Of course, we all know, very unselfish player, still doing the business at 32 or 33 years old. Yeah, just such a strong player. We all know Tom Hawkins, absolutely sensational year he's had, and I've got him starting my side on the half-forward line. Moving on to my first forward pocket in the side, and I've got Tyson Stengle from the Geelong Cats. Simply put, I think he's been the best small forward out of any other player in the competition this year. How he was a delisted player, played for Woodville, West Torrens and the SANFL, won them a premiership last year, and for Geelong to recruit him and become just one of the best small forwards in the competition is just astounding. He's kicked 46 goals for the season, just a threat inside 50 for the Cats. Very accurate kick for goal as well. Has the X factor, of course, a very unselfish player, I do feel as well. He's just been brilliant, Tyson Stengle. And can play high up the ground too. He's very good in their forward 50 or forward half transition for the Cats. Tyson Stengle, no brainer for me. I've got him in my forward pocket. Moving on now to my full forward, we all know who it is, the 𝐼𝐿𝐼𝐿 medalist. He's guaranteed to pretty much make it. Charlie Curnow, kicking 64 goals this season. Brilliant year he's had. Him and 𝐬𝐿𝐼, I felt like this first half of the year, you couldn't really take, who was better. I think 𝐬𝐿𝐼 was putting a solid input, but he started to drop off a little bit, 𝐬𝐿𝐼, here or there, but 𝐼𝐵 just kept on rising, kept on kicking those bags. But it's just been a solid comeback year for 𝐸𝐿𝐼. Of course, did have that late game last year after a massive injury, and he's just come back, played a brilliant season of footy, and now signs a 6-year deal for the Blues. So he is a massive, now, cornerstone player for the Blues to progress into the future, but he's just been sensational this year, Charlie Curnow. No brainer, got him at full forward. Moving on now to my other forward pocket position, and I do have Charlie Cameron from the Brisbane Lions. A few options you could put in. I mean, you could put in Bailey Fritsch and kick 50 goals, but Charlie Cameron can't go unnoticed. 47 goals he's kicked this year. He's probably had one or two, a little bit of patch where he hasn't been as threatening as he wants to be, but he's just still been sensational. Still won games off his own boot in many occasions, and I still feel throughout the whole season he's been a pretty solid level of consistency. Of course, we all know Charlie, absolute threat inside 50. Set shots could be a little bit better, but just a threat always. Kicking goals on the run and in the stoppage from anywhere, really. And I've got him in my forward pocket, Charlie Cameron. Moving on now to the followers, kicking off with my ruckman, and I do have Max Gawn. I do understand people could maybe go for, let's say, Jared Witts or also Tim English, but I just feel like because Max Gawn has the ability to go forward and hit the scoreboard, that kind of gives him the edge for me, Max Gawn, over like a Witts who only pretty much does hit outs. So Gawn, I think, has been the best ruckman in the competition this year. Obviously, he had a few problems with injury, but still, when he has been in, he's just been a barometer for the Melbourne Demons, really. When he's been out, they've cost them a few games. So just such a massive player. Still one of the best hit out to advantage players in the competition, I do feel. And yeah, just his ability to go forward and kick goals. He's a no-brainer, really, for my ruck position in my All-Australian side. Moving on now to my first on baller, and I do have Clayton Oliver from the Melbourne Demons. In my personal opinion, this guy has been the best midfielder in the competition, and I think he will be the Brownlow medalist. He's also the best contested player in the competition as well. Just so clean in the stoppage, just does a little thing so well, gets a little hands, gets a little chip kick out. Yeah, it's just extracts it so well from a stoppage, which allows like 𝐼𝐵 or 𝗏𝗏 to go forward from Clayton Oliver. So he's just such a special player, averaging 33.5 disposals, ranking lead, of course, in contested possessions this year. Oliver, sensational year he's had once again. Good chance as well for the Brownlow medal, and also maybe another Coaches Association MVP award too. And for my other on-baller, I do have 𝐷𝐿𝐼 Neale from the Brisbane Lions. A sensational season he's put together. Of course, there's been a lot of games where he's been somewhat quiet, but that's just because I feel like every game now, when the opposition plays the Lions, he has to be tagged if the opposition wants to win. He's that threatening of a player. Even when he does get tagged, he still puts in a solid contribution. Just one of the best gut runners in the competition and can really go forward. And he's hit the scoreboard a lot more this year compared to a few other years. And I think it's been a career best year. I think his career's been, this season's been quite better than his 2020 Brownlow medal season year. Yeah, just from stoppage to stoppage, he's just a massive threat for the Lions. And when he's not tagged, I feel like he can really take the Lions to the next level. So yeah, for me, 𝐷𝐿𝐼 Neale, here's my other on-baller. Moving on now to my Interchange bench, and these plays in no particular order, but I'll just kick it off with my first player, Christian Petrarca from the Melbourne Demons. These first 4, 5, 6 weeks, he was the best player in the competition. I do feel he just continues form from last year. Just the ability to go forward, kick goals, just a beast in the contest as well was showing. Had a bit of a mid-season slump. He had a bit of problems with the flu and stuff whilst playing, but he is still, the second half of the year has been tremendously strong. The solid contribution he's put in this year. Ability, of course, to go forward, kick goals. We all know that's how Petrarca plays. Such a special player. And yeah, for me, he has to be in the All-Australian side. I've got him on the bench. Now for my next bench player, and I do have Paddy Cripps from the Carlton Footy Club. A sensational year he's put together, of course. There's been a few instances where he has been out injured. He's been pretty quiet for a few games, but just I think his massive games he's played just makes him such a special player, and I think he has to be in the All-Australian side this year. Contested beast, of course, loves to take the game on. The meters gained is always up there. Could be a bit better of a ball user, but we all know Cripps, he's just a beast in the contest and can go forward and kick a few cheeky goals as well. He's just been awesome this year, Cripps. He's been Carlton's best midfielder, I do reckon, and how about that last 2 weeks when he has been inside, especially against Collingwood. He's just a massive big-time player and a massive player for the Blues too. So Paddy Cripps is on my bench. For my third bench spot, I do have Rory Laird from the Adelaide Crows. He's just a player that's really gone on unnoticed this year, but since he started to just continue to be such a consistent level of 30 plus disposals every game. A lot of clearance. He's a clearance beast for the Adelaide Crows, I do feel. And yes, he is playing in the bottom four side, but I just feel he's that special of a player. He's that elite of a player. I feel like he does get a spot in my side, and he's a really good chance to be in the actual All-Australian side too. Yeah, just one of the best clearance players in the competition, I do feel. Absolute ball magnet. He doesn't really get tagged. I don't know why he does. He doesn't really get too many meters gained. That's probably why. But a special player, Roy Laird is. And of course, a fantasy beast too. I have to put that in. Yeah, Roy Laird, I've got on my bench. And for my final bench player in my All-Australian side, could be going for another midfielder here, but I've decided to go for Tom Lynch, key forward from the Richmond Tigers. He has been one of Richmond's most important players, I do feel, this year. When he's not on the side, Richmond struggle to win the game, and he has missed, I think, 4 or 5 games throughout the season with the recurring hamstring injury, so that's his downside. He's injury prone, but when he's in the game, when he's on fire, he has the capability of being one of the best contested marks for key forwards in the competition, can hit the scoreboard with ease sometimes, and he's putting up like Wayne Carey-like numbers this last 4 weeks. He's kicked, I think, 21 goals in the last 4 weeks, and because of that, he's kicked, I think, 60 goals this season. He has kicked 60 goals. With being 4 games out, I mean, he could have won the Coleman medal. Simple as that. So I do feel he gets a spot in my All-Australian side on the bench. So over on there is my 2022 AFL All-Australian side. Not only is this a predictions video for who I think will make it, it's also a bit of a personal one, I do feel, with a few players like, in my opinion, Lynch and Laird that should be getting in the side. So of course, it is a very controversial subject, announcing or picking your All-Australian side. So feel free to comment down below, fellas, and let me know what you think of my side. Who would you exchange? Who would you put out? Who would you bring in? It's all a very debatable subject, all this All-Australian stuff. So I'd love to hear your fellas' thoughts down below. So everyone, that is the end of today's video. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you wanted to enjoy today's videos. Stay tuned on the channel for plenty of content coming up throughout the final series. And until next time, fellas, I'll talk to you later. See you later, fellas.